Hello, everyone. Welcome to podcast episode 5 today as a part of our Women Leaders Pioneering Student Centric Education series. And today we have Miss Shilpa Sawant from Sri Chaitanya Techno School, Aurangabad, as a guest on our podcast. And it gives me great pleasure to have Ms. Shilpa on our podcast today. She carries with herself a strong background in education, psychology, literature, and leadership, especially. So, Ms. Shilpa has been a postgraduate in English literature, especially as a specialization in Canadian literature, with over 27 years of qualitative experience in teaching and administration in K-12 schools, early stage, established, and turnarounds as well, of which 12 years have been in school administration. So this is like a very, very long and illustrious career that Ms. Shilpa carries, and we'd love to dive a bit deeper into her story as well. And Ms. Shilpa has also been a career coach, a Microsoft innovative educator expert, and also an avid writer, as well as her area in developing student-centric environments geared towards maximizing learning experiences has helped her also build very many insightful and valuable learning journeys for students. And Ms. Shilpa also shares her insights about leading schools and the world of education, and especially as a psychology expert and having a background in psychology. She understands not only the perspective of the students, but also of the teachers. And I think that's a key factor in being a successful education leader. So I think there's a lot of topics to unpack and uncover today with Ms. Shilpa, and I really look forward to doing so today. So, Ms. Shilpa, thank you for coming up on this podcast today. And maybe we would love to hear from you about how you got started in the education space. So maybe take us back to 27, 28 years ago when you decided and you took your first steps in the education world. How was that feeling, and how did it all start?
Okay, thank you, Omkar, and thank you, Miracle, for giving me such a wonderful platform. And I'm really very much thankful to you. Uh, Talking about myself, talking about my journey, it was like I became you can say, an accidental principal, you can say, because I was interested in psychology a lot, and my father was a very good writer. In fact, he was, of course, working in a bank. He was a bank manager, but he had that, that you can say that nowadays we are having many kind of storytelling classes and all to be taken. But that time when I was a kid, my father explain, you can narrate each and every story. Of course, it was in entire Marathi, and he had that voice modulation. If it is a simple story of a sparrow and a crow, a chew and cow, which we say. And he had that kind of, how the crow will speak and how the sparrow will speak, that kind of. And then he used to sing in between and everything. And those small stories, made me very much attracted towards stories of mind, because he write many stories. Like his books are being published now also from Josna Publications, and there were a lot of books which he has written on small children. Because as we are having in English literature, we can say, or in English, the entire library which we can see about Enid Blyton, and there is Nancy Drew, and all kind of Hardy Boys and all those stories. In Marathi, there is little bit. The small children are quite less compared to it. Of course, we are having Leela Bhagwat and everything. That Leela Bhagwat actually was the teacher of my father. So it became like this, and I was very, very interested in the stories, and whatever he used to read it out to me. Okay, Shilpa, how do you like it that way? And I would say in a child's mind that no, I didn't like it, because the cat is having some different kind of character. A cat doesn't behave like a cat. I find that a cat is behaving like a dog, and notice all those things, and he used to note down. I mean, talking from a small child. So I feel that, so he used to always say, the learners, I am a learner. And for me, the teachers are not the grown up people. The teachers are always the small children. So then that's what, took me towards the small children. I got more attracted, and I started my career. Uh, doing my college, and I got an opportunity starting as like a pre-primary teacher. And from a pre-primary teacher, gradually, slowly, I started coming into primary, then the middle secondary, and then the secondary. Then I became a supervisor, and afterwards I became a principal. Principal also, it was very much accidental. I was working with Ryan International Group of Schools. So, in fact, I started my career with Ryan International Group of Schools. I worked as a pre-primary teacher, and after that, I took a gap, because of my like my daughter was born. I got married, I got my daughter, everything. And I can proudly say that, I started my career with St. Mary's in Mira Road as a pre-primary teacher. And after many years, I became the principal of the same school, St. Mary's as well as St. Xavier's. And the teachers, many of them, here you were a pre-primary teacher. And it was, as I said, it was accidental, because I climbed my ladder of success with Ryan International Group of Schools. And actually, you can say they pushed me into difficult paths, which, it was like, it made me very cranky, and like I did not want to, I wanted to go back into the classrooms and teach. But then they said, no, we believe in you. And that's the way, when they made me, from a 1 week, like from a supervisor, that was a transformation, only 1 week. From a supervisor, I became a principal. And that also, for the first year itself, I was heading two schools, St. Mary's, the school, as well as St. Xavier's, because St. Xavier's High School was only till 7th standard. So I had to look after the pre-primary till the 7th, and 8, 9, 10th standard of St. Mary's. They did not have a good infrastructure. The students used to, so it was that way. It wasn't. The students came from a very low income group, in fact. So I learned many things. Because see, there might be, we had lot of, as in Ryan and all, we had lot of camps and all, the social service camps and all, where my children, they were feeling very much demotivated, because they felt that, okay, this is entire the rich crowd or the rich students have come. But thanks back to our Pinto sir and Madam Grace Pinto, because they never differentiated children. They were always like, it was like, all children are mine. So it was like that. And my students, like, they really fared very well, in fact. Like, even that was a SSC school, the matric school, and they really fared very well, and they were very happy. You getting 10% results. Then afterwards, like with Ryan itself, they made me the national. I used to go to many of the schools and observe whether the vision and the mission is being followed or no. So it, like, took me to many places, and like I have worked, I can say, all over India. Like, I was with them with Shahjahanpur. Shahjahanpur is a very remote place, you can say that, from Lucknow, and also it was a different experience. So that year, I can say that I was managing 3 schools, and during that time, a mobile. It was only that landline phone which used to make a lot of noise. But I had a very wonderful staff, where only once a day I used to give them a call, end of the day, give them instructions, and they used to follow. So looking back, I feel that, somewhere or the other, I climbed the ladder of success because of my mentors, which I can say from Ryan and Director Madam. Would say that when I was in school, I was a very shy child. Somebody or something like that. But I was a quite introvert child. But there were my 2 teachers, Miss Sybil and Miss Usha, who really, believed in me, and they said, no, you're something different. You're not made this way. You have to do something. And okay, when they believed me, then I got a lot of confidence. So coming all the way, like 20, 30 years of my life, I don't believe that I have completed. So am I so old? I keep on asking myself, because I don't feel that way. I feel, okay, I'm just a child. I mean, I would love to I love to go in a class and just sit and just listen patiently what the teacher teaches. I would love to do that still. So that's what, and you're in Sri Chaitanya Techno School. This is ours is Techno School where we are having a techno. The founders, Dr. Rao, which we say the Rao Garu. Actually, Garu means like we say in respect in Telugu. That is why. So Rao sir and his wife, Dr. Jhansi Bai, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Jhansi Bai. So she is both of them were doctors actually, and they were practicing medicine, and they had two daughters, and when they came down they saw that their elder daughter was not getting an admission in Andhra in engineering college. And it they made because just being, like we say about gender, like, in Andhra Pradesh that time, like it was not, the girls were not that open, you can say, and otherwise the institutes were not that open to take the girl students as in for engineering or medical college. That was in six. And so then, because of that, they just said that, okay, fine, if nobody is attention, why not start our own? And they started with, in fact, it was coincidentally, you can say, 86 with 86 girls. And they cracked the entrance exam, all the 86 students. They, it means Dr. Rao just had a small house. He just rented a house with 2, 3 rooms, and he accommodated and himself had this pattern students pattern which we have now. Because for me, it was also totally new, a techno curriculum. I kept on asking, what is that techno curriculum? It's an entirely, you can say, integrated syllabus. Because now when we ask each other that when we were small, or I know that you're quite younger to me, but when I was small, we can say that there were a lot of matric school. Why do the CBSE boom suddenly? It just, everywhere. Because the main thing it was that ninth and 10th standard curriculum is, is in all the entrance exams for the medical and for the engineering. So parents preferred a CBSE school instead of an SSE school. So that is why it has mushroomed everywhere. But what Dr. Rao feels, and even we educators feel, that CBSE curriculum is just not sufficient for a child to crack his JEE or his NEET or any kind of entrance exams, because there are many things. Come on, a ninth and a 10th standard syllabus, and how can you crack a JEE or a NEET? You can see that there are so many coaching classes everywhere where it is just, rote learning everywhere, just a rattamar. Even for the 10th standard also, it is just a rattamar. There's nothing else, what they just want to see that percentage. But how much can you understand? So in Sri School, we are having a curriculum, from 6th standard onwards, we have all those batches. We have a C batch, that is for engineering. We have a Medicon batch, that is for the medical students. So from 6th standard, of course, we do not teach them engineering or medical or something in these batches, but we help them to crack their exams, their entrance exams. We understand that, some students might be not interested after, after 2 years, 6, 7, they have done their C batch, but they're not interested in engineering. So then not a problem. We are having different batches like the civil batch, where they can be the civil servants, like they want to become an IAS officer or something like that. Otherwise, even for NDA. So these are also even for MBA, whatever. So these are different kind of batches. And in fact, like, when I was knowing IPL, I was knowing only it is about, well, IPL, PL, Sri Chaitanya Techno School. And the main thing about it is, like, which I liked it very much, because I have been having a long journey in education, which I found Sri Chaitanya a very practical and a knowledgeable organization. Why? Because the thing is we are having HODs for every subject. Sri Chaitanya Techno School, there are all over India. And the main thing it is there that they are having different HODs, and everything, all the lesson plans, everything comes from the central office. It is like in Aurangabad, which I am there now, that if our maths teacher is teaching, if it is Pythagoras theorem in the month of August, or we can say on 17th August, she has taught that. So 7 in Tamil Nadu also the same thing with in Andhra Pradesh, same thing in Madhya Pradesh. It is that way. So the entire curriculum which comes from the central office, that is very very important, because there are different HODs. Like even if there is a second standard maths HOD, and there will be another fourth standard maths HOD. So it is not a mixture. So that's a huge, you can say, this is to academics, which I in fact, because see, in other schools, what it used to be a very, you can say, a pain in the back when the teachers used to do their own lesson plans. And how will the teachers do? Okay, either they have to take the help of the previous schools wherever they have worked for. Otherwise, they would have to take different kind of from Google. Otherwise, different kind of you can say the websites are there. The guides, the Byju's are there, Vedantus are there. So many things are there. So it was like a mixture of everything. So sometimes it can be, see, we cannot say that everybody is perfect. So in these kind of websites also, there used to be many kind of flaws. And then the parents used to come and they say, oh, but why the teacher has given this kind of answer, where this is totally untrue, also something like that. But that kind of situation we can everything, even the question papers have been prepared by them. The training for teachers, then handwriting training. With teachers write on the board. So it can be that they are writing in a print form, they're writing in running the cursive writing. It can be that way. But here they are teaching a lucida handwriting, where everybody, even the office also being having a different kind of faculty development. So even if they are writing any kind of you can say a draft or a receipt or something, it comes everything in lucida writing. So these are the small things which are being covered up, which I really appreciate and I like, because it is just not the teachers or the non-teaching staff, but even for the 10th standard. Okay, we because our first year in the school of Sri Chaitanya in Aurangabad, and we're having 62 students for the 10th standard. They'll be having their CBSE exams tomorrow. But then, even like for them also, a handwriting session was conducted every month, so that they could, because the main thing is the paper, how they are going to present that paper, how are they going to write it. Because we know that if the paper is neat and tidy, even if whatever the matter is, I shouldn't say that in fact, but matter is the examiner, he looks into the paper and he will definitely like it. Yes, this is something, okay, chalo mark de dete hai kuch ta kuch aise karke. It is that way. So then these are the small things which are looked into it, and which makes me also a proud principal of Sri Chaitanya Techno School. That's what.
Okay. Wow. I think you've covered quite a lot of ground over there. There's so much for us to sort of unpack. But I think it's a lovely journey that you have described, that about about your career progression, like right from starting with the tiniest children, in
Yes.
kindergarten, and then going upwards, going into management, going into leadership as a principal, and taking it up, even though it was perhaps frustrating at the beginning, because leadership is a very different game as compared to being an individual practitioner or an individual subject matter expert or a teacher.
Yes.
But you took up the challenge. You continued. You fought against your own, let's say, frustrations, your own hesitations, and yeah, and of course, with the trust and the leadership of the management and your mentors, I think you've reached places where maybe otherwise you couldn't think that you might reach, or you might do things. I think that's a lovely story, and I think it's very inspiring for many budding teachers and many teachers who are at the just starting their careers and who want to make a difference, who want to make a change. in society. So that's a very inspiring story. Thank you for sharing that story. About
You're welcome.
Sri Chaitanya Techno School, I think it's a very unique concept as well that you described
Mm.
about sort of having these works, like having streams, let's say, which may not be hard groups necessarily, but like sort of having a orientation or having a leaning towards a certain field, let's say medicine or engineering or civil services or literature or art. And like you said, like not every student is interested in everything, and I think a good education system recognizes that and supports each student in a personalized manner, for achieving things that they are interested in, first of all, and they're good at, secondly. And of course, the third thing is something that there's an opportunity for as well in society for them in these fields. I think it's a very interesting approach, and it sort of helps people clarify what they want to do in their lives as young students. And of course, in the end, like people switch careers all the time, right? I started off as a technology person, ended up being the founder of a company without an MBA degree, right?
Mm.
So it's not the end of the road if you choose a certain path. You can always switch, and I think that's a very important sort of factor. And one thing that I also really liked about Shri Chaitanya Techno School is, like, I understand it's a very large organization with several schools across the country, I'm sure. And at the same time, having that uniformity, like alignment of how we impart education, is crucial. And at the same time, giving the autonomy for each teacher and each subject matter expert to sort of, do things in their own way. So sort of maximizing alignment and maximizing autonomy is that's like a delicate balance to strike. So how does, since there is techno in the name of the school group, so Sri Chaitanya Techno School, I'd
Yes.
like to learn a bit more about how technology is used, or how is it integrated into the day-to-day operations of the school and of the teachers. So maybe if you could shed some light on that, that would be great.
Okay, definitely. Okay, in regarding to the techno, now let me just tell you that Sri Chaitanya Techno School, techno doesn't only mean the artificial intelligence. It doesn't just mean that. It means all the modern methods. Modern methods means whatever is useful for day to day work or anything. Because if a teacher is teaching well, any kind of the degrees, or you can say the maths teacher is teaching about an 80 degree, 70 degree, 75 degree acute angle, obtuse angle or something. Our teachers, they look into this, that how you're going to use those kind of things in your daily work. Maybe like a carpenter has come to your place and he is measuring that. So as when I had like a friend of mine who had visited school in Ladakh, like of which is the Three Idiots person, and it was said that every door, in fact, the classroom doors had degrees in that. So if the child is opening a door, it can be okay. He's 90 degree, or it can be the entire door which is open for 180 degree, or only for 20 degree. So these are the small things which I really like, and I have implemented that also in the school. And like Sri Chaitanya Techno School, like using technology, of course we are having smart classes, we are having our own app. There are those apps, in fact, like for the pre-primary we are having the Star Kids app, for the primary we are having the Rank Guru app, and for the high school we are having the Infinity Meta. It's, if a child has been absent for 1 week or something like that, he will get all the whatever the question answers or anything the teacher will provide, or his friends might, his schoolmates might give him. But that understand, when he goes into the app and he tries to understand that particular lesson, that concept, and also the different kind of, he plays some kind of games, otherwise quizzes on that particular lesson. So in that he knows, because Sri Chaitanya is more into that how much a child understands. It is that way. So if he is, if he is totally aware of major concept of that. So these are the apps. We parents also, because the parents nowadays they say, "Arey, wo COVID ke time it was always like, the child was always on the mobile phone, otherwise with a laptop or something like that." We don't want that, because it's come to the chalk and talk method. Said yes, that's fine, but no need, because the world is moving fast. You cannot divert, cannot take the phones away from them, cannot take the apps away from them. So it is that you make your own timetable when you are using your Rank Guru. How much is the time you're going to do it? How much, it can be once a week or twice a week, it is fine. But we do not want much of the screen time, because we understand that the small children might have, problems with the eye, something like that. And then, they do not go to the playgrounds also. The playgrounds are empty. It becomes like that. So so we try to tell the students. And in fact, we tell now, we have you can this is a rushing hour for us when the parents are coming in for admissions. So we tell them that, we are not giving you false or fake promises, that we'll have air conditioned classrooms, and all, they will be having different kind of amenities and all that. Because I, being a principal, I feel that maybe that my thoughts are very old school days, you can say, but that students will fall down, they stay in the mud, they have to be messy to understand. Only then you can be creative. So Sri Chaitanya Techno School also, when we have, planned each and every lesson, we see the activity takes them to the playground, makes their hands messy, and makes their, you can say that when a child coming out of the school is very much energetic as he is going in the morning. In fact, morning it is like, the lazy kinds of even we have late comers and all. But when they're going out of the school, they feel like, okay, we should stay back for some time. And there are the play area or something like that, and we have different kind of activities are there. In fact, now, like, we had I would like to share this information, that my fifth standard student, in fact, we had this mastermind program. So it was something out of the, but what it was that we had the small students, that is the junior KG and the senior KG students, learning the multiplication tables from 1 to 25. Then standards from classes 1 to 5th standard, learning the multiplication tables from 1 to 100. Even I am also not knowing that many tables, in fact, multiplication tables. And they had a world record that was on 5th of January, just last month, that our three students, in fact, I can proudly say that all over India, how many Sri Chaitanya Techno schools were there? In that, our three students have broke the world record of reciting 200 multiplication tables in 20 minutes without any errors. And this was monitored by World Book of Records in London. So that was there. And these are all the different kind of activities in the software which our Sri Chaitanya had given us, where each, how did they learn, it was like that. So it was, 100, it was a 100 days challenge, 100 days challenge for 100 multiplications. It was that way every day. India, like, it was a first period, third period, all 5 minutes they used to come to a mastermind class which we had arranged. Just at the desktop and just see, because that was entire visual knowledge, and from that they learned these tables and without error. So it was a very, very great from my students. So technology,
Okay.
as I said, technology is in this way, where even the child feels proud, the parent feels proud, the teachers feel proud, and of course, principal feels very proud for that. So this kind of technology, kind of software is being used.
Okay. Wow. That's a huge achievement. What you just mentioned about being able to multiply until 100. I mean, I
Yes,
remember when I was in school, I could barely be able to do until 20.
same
That
here.
was already too much for me. Um,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
for sure. I think what you mentioned about, right, like learning is one thing, like memorizing is one thing, and seeing it being applied in the real world is the next level. And I like this idea
Yes.
of understanding angles and doors, because it's a crucial day-to-day thing. Like today, if I have to organize my furniture in my office or in my apartment, I have to think about angles. I have to think about dimensions. I have to think about, in 3D space. The world is in 3D space around us. So helping people understand things in real life, like taking education, bringing it to life in the world around you, is the key to going away from memorization to making education more memorable. Is something that we also believe in at Miracle.io. And I think it's lovely to see at Sri Chaitanya Techno School, like this is being put to good use. Like techno is not just technology being IT or software, but also like being innovation generally. I would say is something that is being applied in each school
Exactly.
campus. And it does innovation doesn't have to be earth shattering or groundbreaking. It can be simple things like this door example I really loved. you know you can really
Yes.
see something that you've learned on the board in the classroom, maybe on the screen, applied in a day-to-day use case. That's really great to see. Maybe one thing that is, I think, an important topic for you as well, and for the theme of the podcast as well, is about empowering teachers. I think this is one of the key topics, like to make sure that the students and the builders of the future of tomorrow are empowered and are nurtured in the right way. The teachers of today need to be supported and empowered in the best way possible. So maybe as a principal, as an education leader, what are the challenges or what are the areas where you see that teachers need the most support and more support on, and how can where do you see this support being given to them from? Like, what are the sources of support that you see that teachers can benefit from? Maybe the
Hmm.
context can be specifically at Sri Chaitanya Techno School. Maybe we can keep the focus on that. And as a school principal, where do you see teachers can be best supported today to ensure that they support the students in the best way possible?
Right, right. Let me say, when you're talking about challenges, about the teachers face a lot of challenges, because now in India, like we are having excellent education, for training centers, we can say. Like the teachers have done their B.Ed or their D.Ed or their M.Ed, they have done. But after that, what? They don't teach anything in that B.Ed curriculum, M.Ed curriculum about technology, about the moving, because see the world is moving very, education itself is also moving very fast compared to different countries all over the world. Compared to that, India is quite much, still it is far fetched, we can say, or it is away from the highest technological aspects. It is that way. Because the reason behind that, which I have seen, that okay, when a teacher is a fresher, she can, and she's been told that this is your classroom, these are your books, these, because you have done a specialization, if it is in history, okay, these are the books and everything you have to start teaching. She goes into the class and there is a smart board where she is not aware how are you give a one day training or something like that. But then there are different kind of factors over there where the teacher has to use all these simple things. Right now also the Hindi Marathi teacher, so we in Sri Chaitanya, we have a DTP operator who types the question papers or any kind of worksheets or anything, which in different, than the syllabus, other than the list. But still, we do not have, like, the Hindi Marathi teachers cannot type Hindi Marathi computers. And because never about it that to learn computers or something like that. It was okay, computer kar rahi hai to computer teacher hi ho jayegi. It is that way. So these are the small, small challenges, and which, I, as an educator, and you have given me a very big response feedback in my podcast interview today, that yes, I have to think a lot for these teachers. And sessions for elderly teachers, same way I have to conduct the sessions for these teachers as well. It is not only me, but I would really humbly request other organizations also, other educators also, that let us come together and that the teachers of India are being accepted everywhere. I have many of my friends in Canada, in UK. So they're the in demand. Wherever like Indian teachers, they can only go towards the you can say to our UAE, the way where there are different Indian schools and everything like that. But what about the American schools? What about UK schools? Even if like in India, she has to do kind of different kind of when she goes to that particular country. In fact, in 2017, when I got a chance of staying in England for 3 months, in fact, I was with my uncle over there, and I met many educators there, and I came to know that there was a lot of shortage of teachers. So then I to that time was Chris Hipkins, which right now he is the president. So I had that I have students, and from I know that there is a shortage of teachers. So I would like to help you. So then he replied, it was a very, I felt so happy that an education minister, because many of the times I have written an education mails to education India, but I haven't received any kind of only the reply. But there, like in a day, Chris Hipkins had replied, and he said, "How what is the way? How can you help us?" I said, "I can assure you that I am going to conduct any kind of teachers from you can say a interview drive or something like that. But yes, I can." In India, we're having very hardworking teachers. In he said, okay, no, that would be great, if you are checking out that there's Indian teachers happy to help us. But then somehow the qualifications, like he said, okay, can you give me some kind of course scanned copy of the teachers, and I gave the most excellent teachers, whether they were teaching social studies, whether they were maths teachers or science teachers, nearly six to uh, and somehow or the other, like when they are verifying it or something, it doesn't match their standard. So it's where I felt bad, not because my teachers were not selected, but why when our excellent teachers or anybody are not being their degrees are being questioned. So when I first time landed in Auckland airport, that time there was of course zone, the red zone and everything, and they were checking our bags and all in the customs, and I just said that okay, I'm just a teacher. A teacher, it was like oh ma'am, don't anything, you can just go to that they're excellent teachers, and somewhere or other they are rejected just because their standard does not match that particular country's standard. So it irritates me a lot, and I am know, trying my level, different organizations who can help these particular teachers. And when I mean organizations, I mean organizations from Canada, from US, from UK. But somewhere or the other, it comes the money, the money factor, because sadly saying that teachers are not being good compared to other professions. And it is the teacher molds the entire country, whichever country it is, whether there are doctors, whether there are engineers. Who made them? Teachers have made them. But then the teachers are not being paid that. When they're not being paid that, it really hurts me a lot. I try my level best, but we can say that even I am trapped in this kind of education system, where it is like, it just goes about to this one second norm, third norm for all the teachers, whether they are from government schools, whether they are from, from the private schools, or whether they are from IB schools. There are, and this differentiation. A teacher in a mathematics might be excellent, and she might be getting paid very less compared to a, you can say, a third standard teacher in IB school. So it becomes so, that kind of bad balancing at all, and which really hurts me. So I write a lot of blogs for the teachers also. Of course, my blogs, like, it's called blunt chapters, because the writing is quite blunt, because this is education. Somehow or the other, my journey, which I have seen, that, I'm not blaming anybody or anything. Like, suddenly, there is a politician and he starts a school. Suddenly, builder who starts a school. Because why he has started a school, the builder? Because he has this entire, and all these colonies of buildings, and he wants those students only, going to that particular school and everything. That this school, otherwise they give management. They change the management. And in fact, I can proudly say that every year Sri Chaitanya adopts such kind of schools. They are taking over the management. Let the students be as they are. We will transform your school. And this transformation is excellent, because every year now, in many of the places, in many of the now also now latest, like in Gujarat, from the 1st of April, we are going to start 8 schools. Then afterwards in Madhya Pradesh, like, and much fact, our husband, to give me, like, you can say, a next level from a principal, what, and they have given me, that Maharashtra schools, the pre-primary and primary, as well as Madhya Pradesh schools for the pre-primary section. The teachers, of course, it is just the starting, still not being in papers, but I'm enjoying it. I'm conducting orientation with parents, because taking over old school, need to have that kind of trust. The parents need to have trust in that particular organization. And that is why I feel that, which Sri Chaitanya is doing a very great job. There are other institutions also, they are doing that. But when I'm talking about Sri Chaitanya, that this entire curriculum, this syllabus of techno curriculum, is really being, shared with parents, and so that the parents understand, what exactly. See, it is always good, to trigger the brain cells of students. Small children, when they are very, very, you can say, intelligent. Even a small baby, you will look into your eyes, and you will he or she will understand whether I have to be a mischievous child, or whether I have to be a quiet child. Okay, my mama is very much angry. I can see, look into her eyes, and I can. When a small child is doing that, our children, why not give them an opportunity? Why not challenge their brains, trigger their brains to do something more? Just not that, okay, a plus 1 plus 1 is 2, and 5 plus 5 is 10. Not only they, into that. I remember the movie. I think so. It was the movie Lucy,
Mhm.
of Scarlett Johansson. The like, it was that only we are using only a very, very small, minute part of our brain, because we are not challenging it at all. And once we are using our brain, the 50% of the brain, we become the most intelligent human beings. So when, when I look into this, kind of, I mean, being a psychology student, we can say that I into the brain of small children. And I say, why can't they do? They ask you all kind of questions, and we shoo them. Okay, shoo, not going to ask such kind of questions. Okay, but why not? See, in the majority, when they are asking questions, that is what. In fact, like in many of the schools, so I'm sorry, but I am having so many incidents to share. But in my past schools also, which I have seen, like, there was a teacher, in fact, there was a drawing teacher. And after his period was always my period. It was a seventh standard class, and I used to teach history, geography that time. It was a state board school. After that, I had to actually make the children quiet because the children used to be so energetic. Because what used to happen, that teacher, he used to start his class with a end it with a joke, and the students were used to look forward for such kind of classes. So so mixing in that, a special ingredient is the sense of humor, which I realized, every teacher. So I give this example to most of my teachers when I conduct meetings. I can create that kind of environment. Of course, we cannot expect that, our maths a very serious subject, and suddenly the teacher starting with a joke, the understand anything. But creating that kind of environment in the class is very, very important. So that is what, which I'm sorry, but I'm sharing one more incident which I really feel like,
Sure.
sharing it.
Please do.
In fact, she had to take leave every year. She used to take a leave because her husband was on the ship, and and she had to take a leave because of that. It could be 1 month, 1.5 months, like that. When I was in Ryan that time, and because she was a Christian teacher, a Catholic teacher in the church, they are having a book, where the unemployed people. So she used to bring one teacher. She used to train that teacher. Ma'am, not a problem. I have this particular teacher, and that's this teacher is going to do a good job. The teacher, and as you know, the primary teachers, we do not take gents. In fact, we take ladies. And unfortunately, she did not get a lady teacher, but she got an excellent teacher. His name was Peter, and she came to me that you know he's a gent. So she said, "No, ma'am, please, you have to see." I spoke to my manager, and management in fact giving them chances. So that was it. And this person's teacher, Peter, I just observed his class. I sat in the class. He was teaching numerators and denominators. What he on bench near the blackboard, and he made two students sit on the bench and two students sit under the bench. And they said, who is the numerator and who's the denominator? It was such a simple lesson, but I'm sure till now the students mustn't have forgotten the denominator is below the line or is it above the line. And the students kept on saying, I am the I am the numerator. It was like this. So, these small things, where it comes, and it really, it has educated me also. And my journey has become so much fruitful with so many incidents, so many experiences, and it has really, you can say motivated me also. And coming back to empowering the teachers, which I feel that yes, our teachers are great. Our teachers are really doing a great job. There are so many doctors, engineers who have been in our in India, like Mr. Omkar Peple also, who was in Dadar and now he's in. So that's what. So world has got excellent people. Why not excellent Indian teachers? So I
Absolutely.
create some kind of, you can say a revolution for this, for empowering the teacher not only in India but anywhere in the world. That any school they will see the resume of that particular teacher, and before seeing the qualification, an Indian teacher, excellent, I'm hiring. I want that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's a great mission to work on. And I think so many anecdotes that you've shared from your career about teachers using and employing great methods to make learning memorable. I think it's an excellent
Yes.
example. And I think the key point that you touched on is about incentivizing teachers in the best way possible. One of them, of course, being how well they're paid. I think teachers being underpaid is a problem, of course, in India, but also it's a global challenge. I see also this conversation happening in Germany, for example, that there's a
Right.
teacher shortage. B, there is, like teachers are not paid enough to, people are not incentivized to sort of give back to society and, contribute in education, educating the next generation. So how can we
Right.
sort of fix this gap that exists and is widening even more and more? So I think definitely it's a very good and ambitious mission to set off on for teacher empowerment and for sort of having teachers being recognized as strong contributors to society. Because everyone that whoever is a doctor, an actor, an engineer, lawyer, everyone has had some sort of a teacher backing them and supporting them in what they've wanted to do to become successful. So I think it's a very, very good point. All right. So, thank you for sharing these anecdotes. They were lovely, some of them, especially the numerator denominator one that Mr. Peter,
Yes.
used as an example. I'll remember that too, for sure.
Yes.
Maybe to wrap up the conversation for today, I had one question that I think is a bit of a forward-thinking question. So, what is one thing that you would like to see changing or improving or evolving at Sri Chaitanya Techno School in the next 3 to 5 years? One thing that you would really like to see evolve and change.
Okay. As I had said that we are having a different kind of curriculum. Still, the mindsets of the parents have not been changed. Of course, in South, as Sri Chaitanya is very much developed and very much established. Now, coming to here in Maharashtra, like now I am in, like we just started like last year. We got good strength, everything as I said, that we are having a 952 strength, which is not bad first year when students struggle so much. But still, the mindset of the parents have not accepted it wholly, this techno syllabus. They are still not looking into it as challenging their children's brains, which I said you have to trigger their brains. Not that for them it is like CBSE, it is the CBSE curriculum, so let it be just those NCRT books and everything, all that. Okay, fine, it's also excellent. They have given everything in that. In fact, the first 2 pages of NCRT is about how a child should learn, and where we do not read those particular pages, because each and everything when they have told some know, or how the parents have gone through this, what is a mind map, what is a self study, all this. So in the next 3 years I am expecting that the parents mindsets change, and they look forth and they see that okay, not a stagnant curriculum, but the curriculum who keeps on moving, who keeps on giving our students, our children, a different opportunity, a platform. Because now, instead of sending into these coaching classes or or the different kind of tuition classes, everything, because we have challenged each and every parent that you need not send your students to any kind of tuition classes. Our school is very, very sufficient for that. So still the mindsets have not been changed, because that's what is happening for years together, where they go in the 8th, 9th, 10th standard, the parents start panicking, and they keep on sending their students to all kind of coaching classes and tuition classes, where they are not learning much, but it is just rote learning, just the ratta mar. So in the next 3 years, I believe that definitely the parents' mindsets are going to change, and they are going to embrace this kind of curriculum.
Okay, great. So I think definitely parents are an important stakeholder in the education ecosystem, and
Yes.
I think apart from students being supported for pursuing their likes and their passions effectively, empowering teachers and incentivizing them well, also making parents aware about what Sri Chaitanya Techno School brings in a different way, in a different
Right.
flavor that is aligned with a broader syllabus of the NCRT prescription, but also
Yes.
adding their own touch and their own sort of flavor to it is something that you would like to see evolving and sort of being more spread in the parents' minds. I think that's a
Yes.
wonderful wish to have. And from our side, from Miracle.io, we wish you all the very best as an education
Thank
leader
you. Thank you,
at
sir.
Sri Chaitanya Techno School and the entire school group as well in achieving these aspirations and ambitions for teachers, for students, for the school, and for, of course, the parents as well. So, with this, we would conclude our podcast for today. Thank you very much, Ms. Shilpa, for walking us through
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
your story
Yes,
and
yes,
telling
yes.
us so many anecdotes and yeah, helping people understand from the education ecosystem and from outside of it as well what good leadership can look like in schools, and how schools can be self-sufficient also in imparting high quality education. It's been very
Yes.
insightful, and once again, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts.
Thank you, Azhar. And thank you, Miracle, for giving me this platform and sharing all my thoughts